Hello everyone, my name is Herbert, and this is my end of semester exam for DCIT309. It's embedded systems.
Okay, so the project is in six parts. You have the part A, you have the part A being the traffic light control, part B being the adaptive vehicle detection, part C being an automated street light system, part D alert and emergency system, and part E system integration, and part F system design documentation. So the project mainly focuses on part A to part D. Yeah. So currently, what the code I'm writing right now is for part A, which is the traffic light control. Uh, okay, so the part one, this is what I'm supposed to do. First, I'm supposed to create a new sketch. As you can see, I'm done creating the new sketch. Then I'm defining the pin. So as you can see, the pins are being defined. And then after defining the pin constants, I'll move on to the state enumeration. That's to name each traffic light phase. Also, after doing that, I write the setup function to initialize all the pins. So after writing the setup functions, the next thing to do is to write the active state function that turns on only the correct lead. There's just something to do. And after that, I write the loop function using the malice for non-blocking timing. Then I'll upload the code. Yeah, so over here I was experiencing error when I tried to run the code. So the problem was from the declaration. I didn't declare the active state. Yeah, so I'm working on it. That's what I'm working on. Okay, so I'm done with all the necessary declarations and now so I compiled the code and it is working now. Okay, so here is me setting up the traffic light control using the traffic light simulator. So when I was connecting the jumper wires, I realized that the green wasn't working. So had to recheck it and work on it again. Yeah, so I managed to connect the jumper wires and it is working now. Other parts B, the vehicle detection. Okay, so there's me writing the code for the part B. So the part B, what I did was I added a pin and a flag definition to the existing constants, and also I initialized the button pin in the setup. And then I reset the extension flag. It wasn't each time the red starts or the red state starts. Yeah. So I added a vehicle detection logic inside the state green keys in loop. And yeah, So after I just uploaded it, and then I use the press button or the push button, yeah, as the detector. Yes, over here I was done with the setup for the vehicle detection. Okay, so this is the part C, the automated street lights. So what I did was I added the pin definition for the LDR and the street light LED or the LED. Then from there I added the street light pin to set it up. Then I calibrated the threshold by reading the LDR values. Then after that, I wrote the was in the update street light function. Then I called the update street light was in a function during every iteration of the loop. Then after, I just what's it called tested by covering the sensor. So you see the sensor demonstration. So that's the demonstration. So when I cover my hand with the LDR sensor, the LDR reads 0, which means the place is dark. So when place is dark, the street light turns on. When I release my palm, then there is light on the sensor. Then the street light goes off. Yeah, so this is the part D, the alert and emergency system. So what I did was I added the pin functions and emergency state variables, and from there I initialized the new pins in the setup. Then I wrote the active buzzer and the silent buzzer helpers, their functions here. Then after that I wrote the enter emergency mode function and also clear emergency mode function. Then I added the fault detection inside the state machine switch statement. And also I added emergency button check at the top of the loop. Then I tested the mode by pressing the emergency button.